Hello folks, and welcome back to True Stories with me, Sherry Weens. I hope everybody's having a safe and happy weekend full of smiles and good times. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about the Christopher Watts case and the fact that most of us feel that Nicole Kessinger has a little bit more to do with this whole situation than she wants to admit to. However, many of you have also contacted me in regards to my own personal thoughts on the photograph of the flower that was taken sort of in and around the area that Shanann was buried by Chris. And I did some digging, you guys, and I did find out that the area imminent right around where she was buried, yes, there are flowers, but those flowers are white flowers. So my suspicion is that he buried her, in that area, and a short distance away he saw a yellow flower and took a picture of it and sent it to her. Do I think that he buried her and took a picture of a flower right beside her? No, not necessarily. I see the difference in colors of the flowers around that area. If you look at the Survey 319 site, you can see white flowers in and around the fielded area, and where the sheet was, where she was found, there's also white flowers there as well. So definitely, he did take a picture of a photograph of a flower for his new girlfriend, Nicole, and so coldly, but he also did that a little bit further away from the burial site. However, audacious that he would turn around after burying his own wife and send a flower to his girlfriend. I think it's despicable, to be honest. I've also had a chance to review some of the recorded interviews of Nicole, and some of her laughter within some of those interviews and stuff is a little eerie in my opinion. If any of you were watching OWN last night, the channel OWN, there was a 2020 show on there about the Watts family and this entire case, and I found it to be pretty interesting, actually. I thought outlined and showed the neighbor that was so adamant that something was different with Chris was a very telling sign, and you could see it all over his face in the body cam footage of the officers. He looked very flustered and very worried and nervous, just seriously wasn't acting normal in a sense, and his neighbor picked up on that very much so and stated that to the police. I'm actually really happy that Nicole Atkinson went as far as she did, as fast as she did, in contacting the authorities and getting them over to her home. I feel that if she hadn't have done that, this may have taken longer to solve. Now, for those of you who are following where Chris Watts has been transferred to, that information isn't going to be released because he is owed the right to be protected as well, folks. Even though he is a criminal now, he does deserve to be safe in his cell, and that's sort of his basic human right. So we may not hear of, corrections officers turning their backs for something horrible to happen. We may not ever hear of something bad happening to Chris. In the state of Colorado, they have, I think it's about 124 inmates that are from other states, and then their state specifically has 104 inmates that are housed outside of the state. And this is something that the states intertwine together in order to keep prisoners safe from harm from other inmates. So that information is not being disclosed to anybody other than family. What Christopher Watts chose to do to his family and his little girls is just, it's unforgivable almost. I mean, it's not my position to say whether or not he gets that, but at the same time, I think it's just heartbreaking to see this, both sides of these families sort of have to fall apart over one person's actions. And if I can't stress enough, it would be that, to talk with your partners and not let things build up, and just get those things that are that elephant out of the room, in the room, and start talking about those hard subjects, because it will only bring further hurt, in my opinion, and it will only prolong the inevitable if it is going to end the relationship, if it is on its way to the end. Not talking about it just sort of prolongs the inevitable. today's show will be from 1 till 3 Central GMT time zone. If you're able to make it to the live show, I'd love to see you. I'd love to spend some time with you and chat, and I hope to see you there. If you folks enjoy spending some time with me here, there's a red button below. You can subscribe to the channel, and if you'd like to comment any extra knowledge that you may have, I know that there's a lot of talk around Nicole Kessinger possibly being at the house that weekend. I don't think that that information will ever get disclosed to us folks, and that would be information from where her phone had pinged, and as far as, you know, the basement window and things like that. So there's some unanswered questions that we may never get answers to, but we can at least rest assured that Christopher Watts will never get out of prison, and he will have to spend the rest of his life there for the crimes he committed. I appreciate your watching. If you enjoyed the video, you can give it a like, and we'll see you again next time for more true stories with me. Bye for now.